All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I just got home, and as you might be able to tell from the photo, I've watched Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and I'm here to give my opinion on it. Overall, I would say it was a pretty lackluster movie. I am not gonna sit here and lie and say I'm the biggest Venom fan. Because I'm not. I definitely am outdated on my Venom knowledge, especially current Venom knowledge. I don't really know what's going on in the comics right now. I know a little bit. But I know how Venom is supposed to be, and I know what Venom is supposed to do. And this movie ain't it. I went to go see this movie expecting it to be bad, and it was pretty silly. I mean, there's only so bad a movie could really be, right? If it's like, high quality Sony, is making it, Marvel has their name attached to it, there's only so bad it could be. Obviously the visuals are nice, obviously the acting is okay. The main problem I just have with this is it's not really a Venom story. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to go into slight spoilers, not too heavy spoilers, but I'm going to go into slight spoilers to just be able to make my point across, right? So, this movie, for the most part, and this is a major point, is very adherent to the PG-13 rating. I don't really know what the fuck the PG-13 rating means. All I know is as you go up the rating scale, they could get a lot more crazy. And, they kill people here and there. I mean, you barely see any blood. The most blood you see is maybe, Cletus biting Eddie's hand in the trailer. And that's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer. But, like, that's the most, like, blood you really see. And there's a lot of, like, little loopholes I was figuring out, but we'll get into it. But overall, though, the main issue I had was this doesn't act like the Venom you would expect to act, and they kind of drove themselves into a hole here, right? So, Venom's whole thing is he wants to bond back with Spider-Man. That's his whole personality. Again, I'm not, caught up with how Venom recently is, but for the most part, that's Venom's core identity. He's evil. He doesn't really care what he does. He wants Spider-Man, and then the person who has the symbiote kinda reins him in a little bit here and there. But because in this movie, Spider-Man isn't in here, and Venom is not from Spider-Man at all, they kinda had to make Venom his own personality, and the personality they gave him was just like a comic fucking funny, haha, I'm silly, I want this thing, but I'm also kind of a good guy, but what I want is evil, but I'm trying to be a good guy, and it's like, bruh, this isn't Venom. The Venom I know back in the day was like scary. Like, bruh, I used to be scared of Venom as a kid, because in the Spider-Man games, there was one of them, I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but if I had an editor, they'd put it in right now, but you literally ate people in that fucking game. You ate them, and the intro tutorial to playing as Venom in that game was you ate a fucking kid with a Spider-Man balloon. A fucking child. When I played that game, I thought there's no way I'm going to eat this child in the tutorial. But no, Venom grabs them, punches over, fucking devours them whole, and you just really think, wow, I just really ate a fucking child. In this movie, they show some gore, kind of not any blood whatsoever, barely any blood, but they do show like some heads getting bit off, and it's like, okay, all right. I mean, I guess that's what they say when they push the PG-13 limit, a head getting chomped off that you don't even really see and there's no blood, but okay. But in general, yeah, I really had a problem with the Venom. The Venom symbiote in this movie is just like, he's likable, it's okay. But you have to kind of suspend your disbelief of, okay, this isn't Venom. This is like the movie Venom. It's the same thing with the fucking Hulk that they do. It's like, okay, you have the Hulk from the comics, which is actually strong and doesn't fuck around and doesn't get, dick slapped across his face. And then you have the movie Hulk, which basically bends over and gets rammed every fucking other movie. So that's basically where I am with Venom. Carnage, again, I'm not too much of a Venom fan. I'm even less of a Carnage fan. I think they actually did Carnage very well, though. Carnage is just violent. Like, he's literally violent. Even, like, he basically has almost no allies, because throughout the film, even the people that, like, are close to him, like Cletus Cassidy, even, like, him and Cletus get into disagreements, and, like, So no one's basically safe from Carnage, and Carnage I feel was done very well. Carnage is actually scary because he actually fucking murks people, and you know it's done off screen, but it's still done. He still murks people. The whole story can basically be split up into these two parts, though, and this is another major issue I had with the film. The story, first of all, is fucking boring. If you're going into this being a Venom fan, number one, you're already not getting Venom story-wise, and then actual in the movie-wise, Venom really does nothing aside from fuck around, argue with Eddie, and just punch. Punch and maybe use his symbiote to, like, stretch out and grab things, but it's like, I feel like there could be more to Venom than that, but there really isn't in this movie. It's very simple. Like, I feel like Venom wasn't novel at all, and every time I saw him, I was like, okay, you know, he's just used to have, like, some stupid talking point or, like, punch something a bunch of times, and it was very simple. And don't get me wrong, the fight scene, of which there's one in this movie, is pretty done, you know, it's done pretty well. It's good choreographed, you know, it's very interesting to watch, it's nice, but Venom's side of the fight is literally just, I punch you, I stretch out to grab you, I hit you with something. Carnage is a lot more varied with his fighting. Carnage, the way he fights, is fucking crazy, and it's cool. Like, even in the movie, he has some fucking super move that I don't know why he didn't do again, but like, he has some super move where he literally spins like a fucking Beyblade and conjures up a tornado. And the tornado is so strong, it actually like pulls people. It's like a fucking Category 5 tornado. And I'm just like, how? Like, how is he doing this? This movie was so fucking silly. Eddie Brock is okay. I mean, okay, so like I said, this movie's basically split up into two halves. The first half, which bleeds into the second half too, is basically Eddie and Venom, you know, just dealing with each other and being, you know, finding out their boundaries. And it's pretty, like, it's basically couples counseling. It's like, okay, we're seeing two people who are trying to get along, and they're basically wronging each other. It's literally this. It literally goes back and forth like textbook. It's like, Eddie Brock gets wronged by Venom. Venom apologizes. Eddie Brock does something to make Venom have his feelings hurt, and then Eddie has to apologize, and then Venom hurts Eddie's feelings or does something he's not supposed to, and then he apologizes back, and it goes back and forth, and eventually in the movie, Eddie eventually gets sick of this and is like, yo, I'm sick of this shit, and you know, stuff happens, but it just goes back to the same shit, and it's just, the first half of the movie is literally just couples counseling. It's like, what the fuck, bruh? The second half of the movie, or basically the bare, like, ass end the final fourth of the movie, honestly, is, like, them fighting, and like I said, the fighting is alright, but, like, I didn't care for any of the fucking characters. They used some of the characters from one that, like, they think we have an attachment to, but we don't, and it was just corny. It felt like it was for kids, and it wasn't an actual Venom movie for Venom fans. It was, like, a new Venom that, like, they tried to make their own and appeal to, like, the family. Like, bruh, it was so silly. The fact that Venom just really cares for Eddie Brock, I think way more than he should, and then at other moments, like, he doesn't. It's literally just like like, they just need to fuck. They just honestly need to fuck. And it's just stupid. It was so silly. Overall, though, they did have, like, I don't know if it's a plot point or what, or if they just didn't explain it and assumed we just, like, would go with it, which, honestly, for a lot of the stuff in the movie, you're kind of just supposed to go with, even though a lot of it's silly. If you're a kid and you're a Venom fan, this movie's probably great. If you're an adult and you're an OG Venom fan, it's whatever. But there's a point where, you know, again, in the trailer, Cletus bites Eddie's hand. And then Cletus, that's how he gets the Venom symbiote, right? I don't know if they went over it in the first movie, but the Venom symbiote can basically go with anyone. But I forgot why. I think it's just because Eddie's special. Eddie could just handle Venom. Like, Eddie literally can just bond with him because I guess that's, like, his genetic makeup. Which then begs the question, like, is that the same case for Cletus Cassidy? It has to be. They just didn't explicitly explain it. Which I'm actually alright with. I actually don't mind if some films don't shove, like, the answer in your face. But I was just, like, wondering about it because... and this is another spoiler. Slight spoiler, but there's a certain point where Venom is being tossed around to a lot of people. And I'm just wondering, like, are these two people that managed to get the symbiote just really, really lucky that they're able to bond with it? Or, like, is that just a plot hole of, like, for convenience sake? Because the other people who get the symbiote, they don't, like, you know, get their own little symbiote like Carnage does. Because, you know, Cletus, all he does is bite Eddie, and he gets Carnage that way. But all these people that literally had Venom inside them and have, you know, traces of him inside them, unless I guess he takes it all out, like, do they not get the symbiote too? It's so weird. It's really fucking weird. But, yeah, I mean, overall, I kind of just thought back after I watched it. I was like, I kind of felt like I wasted my time. Because it's just not Venom. Like, it's fucking movie Venom. It's so stupid. The ending, though, was pretty alright. And there's a major, major cliffhanger, but major revelation after the post-ending credits. Which I'm not going to spoil. But it opens up a lot of things. I'm just going to say that. And it's like, okay, they're fine. Marvel's finally getting into the crazy parts. But yeah, overall, I just felt like I wasted my time with this. This was silly. This was goofy. It had dumb jokes. It had dumb just stuff happening. And I felt like it was really short. And the shit I was shown, aside from maybe the ending fight, was just like, it was just silly. I was like, this is for fucking kids, bro. It's not Venom. It's basically not Venom. I hope this enlightened you. This is my opinion. I didn't really like it. It was alright, but knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't have fucking seen it. I probably just would have looked up the fights on YouTube, but that's it. I hope you enjoyed. That's my opinion on Venom, Let There Be Carnage. It was kind of silly.